Welcome back here to Mountain Connections. It's now time for one of my favorite regular conversations with the author of this great book, Employee 5.0, Secrets of a Successful Job Search in the New World Order. It's Mr. Bill Humbert. Bill, how are you doing today, sir?
Diego, I'm doing great. Yourself?
Doing fantastic. But before we get into anything, I do have to say and do a little congratulations to Mr. Bill Humbert here. This is your 100th television appearance, sir.
It is, yeah.
Well, I wish we had like confetti and poppers and streamers and balloons. Like I wish I had a button that I could press right here in the whole set. Yeah, exactly. You're our lucky winner, 100th.
Right.
But we will celebrate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for all
thank
of what you've done here on Park City Television, all of the amazing advice and tips that you've given over your long time here. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it too. It's fun for me.
Absolutely. Well, I have a blast with you here as well. Today we're talking about reflection. This is a very reflective time of the year. I think it's very natural to start thinking about, one, what we're good at and what we were proud of this year, but also maybe some things that we need to change. And that happens personally, but I think professionally it should happen as well. You should take the time to kind of reevaluate your goals and maybe set some new ones for the next year. So what is the true value of that process and that practice as you head into the next year?
So Diego, too often people don't do the process, first of all.
Absolutely.
And so that's probably part of the reason why employee engagement is so low, is they're not reflecting on where they want to be in the next year.
Yeah.
And so they just continue doing the same thing over and over and over again. And so what I see happening is more people are understanding the importance not only in businesses on reflecting the previous year, but also in their personal lives to reflect on them.
Absolutely.
And then make decisions what they want to do the next year.
Absolutely. I think a lot of times people, especially in jobs, if they've been there for a long time, they can feel kind of caught in that hamster wheel, like they're doing the same repetitive task over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I think, unfortunately, and this is across the board, we all do it. Our first instinct is to kind of point the finger, right? Like, it's the culture, it's something about the business setup. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of the time what we don't do is reflect on how we're accomplishing our tasks in that position, right? And maybe there's some things that we could do differently to become more successful and even happier in our position.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what I find, Diego, is occasionally what happens is a person goes, I'm just going to get rid of everything. And so then they go, and they throw the baby out with the bath water. Yep. And, you know, figure out what it is that you're doing well, keep doing those things, and figure out what you need to do better, and then work on those things specifically.
Yeah. So that's kind of, you just got into what happens after you reflect on what you're doing. It's after you reflect, you think kind of consciously about the things that you need to change, and then the next step is what? Creating an exact plan about how to get there, correct?
Yeah, to create a proper goal.
Yeah, and you have a really good way for following and creating goal setting. Tell me a little bit more about it.
So the way I've set up, actually in my first book, not this one, my first book, it is in this one, is SCAMPS.
SCAMPS, yep.
And the first S is for the goal needs to be specific with a strategy to meet the goal.
Yeah.
The C is it needs to be challenging because our minds love challenges.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
The A, on the other hand, is the balance. It needs to be attainable. Because if it's not attainable, then what happens? Our mind goes, whatever.
And also with that, it kind of, if you get in the habit of setting goals that are way too big and over-accomplished, that becomes a habit. You set these goals that are unrealistic and unattainable for yourself. So it's good to take that step back and, as you said, balance the equation.
Right. Then the M is measurable. So you need to set benchmarks along the way so that you know that you are meeting your goals. For instance, you know, we discussed how I hitchhiked across the United States from DC to LA in 5 days. Well, one of our benchmarks was we had to be in Kansas City the second night, and we made it.
Yeah.
And we knew we were on target to meet our goal to reach California in 5 days.
So that's always important to set up those quarterly kind of goals, half-year goals for yourself to kind of check back in and see its progress updates, basically status updates.
Right, and it might be monthly goals.
Yeah,
depending.
Absolutely.
You know, and then it needs to be public, only among the people who support you. What I've seen happen so often is people make it public to the wide group of people, and there's a lot of naysayers out there. And don't make it public to the naysayers. Just make it public to the people who support you. And then they'll hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
Because And it's not, intentional. They just go, so Diego, how are you doing towards reaching your goal?
And you're going to say, oh no, I need to do that a little bit more.
Right. That's right. So it's important to have people there that support you, who are keeping you accountable.
Absolutely. And also to keep you there when you feel like you can't maybe accomplish that, to say, you know what, you got it. You've made it this far. Look at what you've done. You can continue down and continue down these goals. And then the last S is the big one.
The last S is it needs to be a specific end date. And that's very important, because that's the bungee cord that holds scamps together.
Absolutely.
And once you've properly set a goal and you go through, you work with your strategy and you keep on track in terms of your metrics, chances are you're going to reach your goal.
Absolutely. And I think another big thing that we need to touch on that kind of happens throughout this entire process, from the beginning to the very end, is the visualization of that goal, right? And kind of, as you said, picturing yourself accomplishing that goal. And that really does so much for you, for your ability to follow through with that.
It does. Think of your brain that has a little guy and it's got a little folder. And every time you say, I can't do that, he sticks it in the folder. Yeah. However, if you say, I can do that, I can see me doing that, he sticks that in the folder, and you want that folder to get really big.
Yeah.
And that's the belief folder.
Absolutely.
And if you believe in yourself, you'll reach your goal.
That's fantastic. Some amazing advice, as always. Tell me a little bit more about what you're up to in the next few weeks and even this next coming month in terms of public speaking.
Well, in terms of public speaking, January 14th, I'm speaking to the Salt Lake SHRM group, the HR
Excellent.
management group.
Excellent.
And we're going to be talking about proper goal setting.
Excellent.
And then I've set another goal, and that is to finish my third book by December 31st.
Wow, that's a goal for sure. That's excellent. Well,
Yep.
I can't wait to see that one. Bill, as always, thank you so much. You can pick up this book over at our local bookstore here in Park City over at Dolly's. You can find it on the web as well. You can learn more information about Bill and all of his great advice at recruiterguide.com. Definitely you can check that out and learn more information about what he's going to be up to in all those public speaking events as well. We'll be right back with much more right here on Mountain Connections.